Hello everyone, glad to be back. This is a traditional Sunday live stream, and well, now it's 9 o'clock. Now it's 9 o'clock, and today is of course 28th of January. Thank you all for participating in this stream. We have quite a breaking news for this moment, for last hour, I will say, which is about targeting US base. Once again, hello hi to everyone. And well, let's go straight to news. I will share with you number of news that I did prepare, and then we can have a chat, exchange opinions on any topic you find interesting. And breaking news is that, well, statements were made in the US media by US high-ranking officials and institutions that US troops were killed in Jordan, drone attack. Although officials in Jordan made also statements that this attack on US base took place in Syria, not in Jordan. So confusion there, it seems like. But let's read a number of statements. So the US Army troops were killed and 3 US Army troops were killed and many wounded in an overnight drone attack on US outpost in Jordan. US President Joe Biden has said in what represents a significant escalation of simmering tensions in the Middle East. Last night, 3 US service members were killed and many wounded, and we are talking about few dozens. That's reports that I see on some military channels, and many wounded during a unmanned aerial drone attack on our forces stationed in northeast Jordan near the Syrian border, Biden said in a statement issued by White House on Sunday. While we are still gathering the facts on this attack, we know it was carried out by radical Iran-backed militant groups operating in Syria and Iraq. Well, that's an interesting way to make a statement. While they are still gathering information, they already know. I mean, if you're still gathering information, then how you know? And if you have already enough information, then what you are gathering? Then, if you already make if you already receive all the information and if you have factual data. But anyway, this is not the point. Main thing is, of course, that, well, as I said many times before, US bases in the Middle East becoming frequent target. This was expectable because especially because of the US behavior when it comes to Ukrainian conflict. I remind you, dear friends, that Russian forces are operating in Syria and are invited by Syrian government, so Russian forces are there legally for quite a while now, and to make sure that Russian forces and US forces will not end up in some skirmishes, there were lines of communication between Russian militaries and US militaries. But I guess because of the US involvement in Ukrainian crisis against Russia, this communication between sides broke down in Syria. And if before, Russian forces were most likely exchanging with the US militaries, even most likely, by the way, this is my guess, even some intelligence information that some attacks may come in direction of this base or that base. And if Russian forces were, let's say, using their influence to make sure that these different militia groups that are operating in Syria will stay away from US bases and will not target US bases and not escalate, well, there is no incentive on the Russian side now to continue this work, and therefore it's become obvious to me for many, early on, that US bases will become frequent targets, and that's exactly what is happening, by the way. And of course, situation in the Middle East, escalation between Israel and Palestine, only further deteriorate situation and give more and more reasons to these militias to conduct operations against US bases. But what is, yet again, what is important, I did share on my Telegram, by the way, that, well, according to Jordan's official statements from Oman, from capital of Jordan, attack that targeted American forces near the Syrian border did not occur inside the Jordan, and these strikes happened on Al Tanf base in Syria. So this is official statement from Jordan, and US government, for whatever reason, is claiming that this attack took place in Jordan. Very strange. At least they could release proper information about geographical location of that base where this attack took place. But it is escalation. It is escalation, of course, and well, on daily basis we have more and more indicators that this region is pushed towards regional conflict, and I'm quite sure that Western ruling class wants to provoke regional conflict, wants further escalation to so that Hezbollah and most importantly for the West, Iran will get involved, and therefore shipping will be closed in the Persian Gulf and the Hormuz of Strait of Hormuz, and as a result, China will be cut off from Middle Eastern energy sources. That's the main goal in this geopolitical warfare that Western ruling class is conducting right now in regards to Middle East and confrontation with China. But anyway, let's continue with some other news. RIA Novosti's report here that, well, according to Peskov, press spokesman of Russian president, Russophobia will last in the West for decades to come, which is absolutely correct, I guess. Now generations are raised in the West with total hatred towards Russia and Russians. They don't know nothing about Russia. They don't know Russian culture. They never been in Russia. They have no idea what Russia is, what modern Russia is, or what Russian society is. But they hate us, majority, I will say, in the Western world, especially younger generations, because that's what they were told by media, by the so-called media in the West, and their so-called leaders, political leaders, and so on. And therefore, unfortunately, Peskov is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Russophobia in the West will last for decades, for sure. At least there are independent media outlets on the internet and are spreading objective information, and therefore there is opportunity. If people want to learn some more, there is a channels. I mean, all you have to do is just looking for alternative sources of information on internet, and you will find it. Even on YouTube, by the way, still there are independent channels, isn't it? We all know those channels. On Rumble, by the way, on I don't know, Odyssey, on many other platforms, you can find channels that are providing, that are alternative source of information. And through these channels, people definitely can get more information and know better. But if they are only dependent for information on this Western so-called media outlets, Western MSM, then, well, they're gonna hate us, of course, because they are hearing constantly 24/7 that Russia is guilty of everything. Whatever is not okay, it must be Russia. And must be Russians, and this demonization process began in 2008. Active demonization process began in 2007, 2008, and it's only, escalating. So Peskov is correct. That's unfortunate reality. But well, also artists report that Ukraine would be happy to get UK's retired ships. This was said by Vice Admiral Alexei Neishpapa, Vice Admiral of Ukraine. They don't have a fleet, but they have admirals there in Ukraine. And of course, this individual was talking about recent informations in the Western media that UK may retire number of warships because of the lack of sailors, lack of manpower, which is, I mean, quite a telling about the state of modern UK's army and fleet, army and navy. But well, it is what it is. They may not have they may lack manpower in navy and army, but they have a gender something. What they say, gender equality or some crap like that, man. Yeah, gender equality. They have LGBT army there, plenty of LGBT people. They're gonna be great fighters, man. I'm well, of course, I'm quite sure about it. And well, who can say otherwise? If anyone says otherwise, they're gonna get cancelled straight away, especially in the West, by the way, isn't it? And historically, of course, LGBTs were, you know, so great fighters, man. So great. I mean, all the wars were won by LGBT people, and this gender transgender people, transgender individuals. When one day they feel like they are women, the next day they feel like they are men, and the third day they may feel like they're dogs, or I don't know, man, horses. I mean, you know, and those people are, you know, plenty in UK's army, and good luck them with that. Entire world is laughing, man. Entire world is laughing at this craziness that's going on in the world. And I know YouTube may delay this channel, man. I'm not saying nothing critical, isn't it? I'm saying that it's great, man. It's great for UK. So my channel not supposed to be deleted, man. I'm not criticizing nobody. It's none of my business, man. Who wants to be what gender and what, you know, what species. Anyway, let's continue. Artists report here that negotiators are close to Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal, according to New York Times. And according to information that we have here, Hamas may release 100 hostages gradually, and in exchange, Israel will agree on 2 months ceasefire. Just about a week ago, I did report that this was Israel had similar proposal, but Hamas then declined this proposal, and now New York Times is reporting again that this is the terms that sides are negotiating. Kommersant newspaper is reporting that Iran's military seized control over the tanker in the Persian Gulf. This tanker was under flag of one of the Oceania nations, Australia, if I'm not mistaken. And according to IRGC, this tanker was carrying contraband, so illegally transferring oil and oil products, and therefore the Iranian side made decision to seize this tanker. 14 members of the crew are now in Iran's captivity. And according to information, about 2 million liters of fuel was on the board of that tanker. Yet another step towards escalation, undoubtedly. So, you know, every other day we have more and more indicators that Middle East is approaching point of no return. Also interesting news that Trump planning massive tax on Chinese imports, according to media. And this is big deal, by the way, because most likely Trump will be the next president if he will eventually reach this final stage of presidential race. And well, let's read here. Former US President Donald Trump has told advisors he wants to impose 60% tariff on all imports from China if he wins this year's election. The Washington Post reported on Saturday, citing 3 unnamed people familiar with the plan. This is big, by the way. 60% tariff on all imports from China. Wow. I don't know, man. I don't know if he will go through with this idea once he's elected, if he's elected president, because can you imagine hiking inflation if this will happen? This type of step may not just increase inflation, but it may even provoke some shortages on the market, because some stuff may become too expensive, really, that are imported now from China, and the US imports almost everything from China, maybe with the exception of corn and I don't know, man, Teslas, or maybe even Teslas are imported from China because Tesla has huge factory, this gigafactory in China. But this is definitely a big move. Trump was one who initiated this tariff war with China, and he may continue with this. And in one hand, in short terms, this will definitely have a huge impact in terms of inflation. Some shortages may occur, but eventually this step may stimulate local production of of goods. If you think about this step, definitely in the long run, definitely may become somewhat helpful because it will stimulate local production. And well, this is it, I guess, for a short summary. Or no, one more news, by the way, that 3 African nations made decision to leave ECOWAS organization, and these countries are Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. This statement was made about leaving this economical union of Central African nations today. So, well, that's a big deal, I guess. That's a big deal, and a huge blow for this ECOWAS organization, and quite understandable also because ECOWAS was against new government in Niger, even threatened Niger with an invasion. So it's quite a logical step from these 3 countries. So all 3 countries, by the way, are maintaining close ties with Russia. And Russian instructors, Wagner PMC formations are presented, if I'm not mistaken, in all these 3 countries and are participating in the training of local militaries. So, well, they have a backing, these countries. They have Russia in France, and I guess China also. So, they are not afraid. They are not afraid to defend their own interests, which is good, by the way, which is good stuff. And this is it for a short summary. Hopefully you will find this short summary somewhat informative. Of course, main topic being this incident with the US base in Syria, not in Jordan, but US media and state institutions are constantly mentioning Jordan. Government of Jordan should know, isn't it, where this incident took place. So let me check now if I see any questions. I will try to answer. And questions. Question: Europe will die screaming unless the peoples of European countries take action and change things. James Silver is commenting, well, Europe is in deep trouble, for sure. Europe is in deep trouble because they've been now deindustrialized. They lost main source of competitiveness on the market, which was cheap Russian energy. And I mean, give it like 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, and modern Europe, EU area will definitely lose its significance on the world stage immensely. I guess, as I said quite a number of times, I guess in 20, 30 years' time, Europe will become a somewhat irrelevant province of Eurasian continent. That's the direction that Europe is heading now, and unfortunately, I don't see how people in Europe gonna change things, because I mean, what they gonna do? Yes, there are protests everywhere in Europe, but still no one listens to people in Europe, unfortunately. And whenever some elections are taking place, even worse people are becoming in power. Almost always. That's almost always the case. And therefore, I don't know, man. Best decision probably Europeans can make is to emigrate here to Russia. I will recommend, man, just, you know what, just emigrate to Russia, man. This is definitely last stronghold for traditional values, for family values. Just emigrate here, man, and you will be welcome 100%, and you're not gonna see issues that you are seeing in the West with this crazy ideologies and stuff, man. Because inside the Europe, let's be realistic, man. I mean, look at what is going on in France or in Germany, these farmers' protests, you know, and what? Does anybody listens to them? No, eventually there will be crackdown on protesters, and that's how it's gonna end. We all remember these Yellow Vest protests in France, isn't it? Did they achieve anything? No. No. Nothing. Because elites are just, you know, so-called elites are living in different world, and vast majority of people lives in other world, and, you know, elites just don't really care. And they have means to suppress people, to control people, propaganda, for example. I just spoke a few minutes ago about the statement of Peskov on Russophobia in the West, which is correct, you know. They did manage to make people Russophobes, isn't it? Just in a like decade. Even less, man. In last 2 years, most likely majority people that are Russophobes now did get this disease in last 2 years. Although West is trying actively to demonize Russia since 2007, 2008. If you remember, there was a famous speech of Putin in Munich Security Conference in 2007. And since that moment, I mean, it already was clear that after that statement, after that speech of Putin, became clear that there was unbreachable differences between elites here in Russia and in the West. And most likely when Putin was recently talking about how naive he was in the first years of his presidency, probably this naivety ended on 2007 during that. And that speech was a result of that change. Question. A commenter on your video this morning asked about Boris Nadezhdin. Is he trying to sell out Russia? My comment was removed. Thank you, French Flanagan. Thank you for a question. Unfortunately, YouTube delayed so many comments, by the way, that you know. And unfortunately, I cannot do nothing about it. I see on daily basis when members of our community are writing that they are getting tired to comment something because to share opinion, because they cannot. I mean, they write one comment, is deleted, second deleted, third deleted. I don't know what is wrong with YouTube's algorithm, man. It's definitely broken. And when it comes to Boris Nadezhdin, I don't even know who the hell is this guy, man. I just don't know. Is he this Mason or something? Let me check right now. Boris Nadezhdin. Just a sec. We can check this right now in real time. What? Ah, this one. Ah, this face is familiar. This face is familiar. He was a member of parliament. You know, and well, to be honest, I don't know much about his program. I don't really care about his program. Oh, bling. I'm afraid I did not use screen capture, isn't it? But anyway, I did saw this individual, this Boris, whoever he is. And, well, as I said recently on my Rumble, during the Rumble stream, there is presidential elections in March here in Russia, but this is not really a big topic for people, by the way. Media will, of course, write about it and stuff, but people, I mean, recently I had guests and we spoke about some different topics, including politics, by the way, and we didn't even touch on presidential elections because it's not interesting. We all know who will win. And many people will use this election to gain some attraction, to become a little more popular, to get people to get know them. And this Boris what is his name, man? Boris Nadezhdin. So this Boris Nadezhdin will try. He has a familiar face. Maybe I see his interviews or something like that. But I mean, who is he, man? Really? And if he is somewhat connected with, if he wants to sell off Russia, and if he's somewhat connected with the foreign intelligence services, well, counterintelligence service will take care of him, I guess, as they should, if there is any connection. If not, then, I mean, if he just criticizes government and makes some crazy statements, let him do so. It's his right, man. As long as he is not calling for some disturbances inside the countries, let him criticize anyone he wants. I mean, who cares, really? But when it comes to presidential elections, I really I'm not interested in that stuff, because Putin's ratings are, by the way, 60, I don't know, man, 65, 70%. And therefore, there is no political competition. And if there is no political competition, then why should I pay attention to this topic at all? So when elections become a little closer, election date, well, I will have to pay attention to this topic because, I work in this field. But right now, it's far away, in 2 months' time, isn't it, or more? And, I mean, there's nothing interesting to tell, really. There are some names like this Boris Nadezhdin. Who is he, man? I mean, who cares, man, about him? And I'm quite sure you give me this list of people that wants to become president, and I would not know, I don't know anything about majority of them. Maybe 1 or 2 people will be more or less known in the public, but rest of them, I don't know, man. So that's my answer. I don't know much about this Boris Nadezhdin, and if he is just criticizing, I don't even know what statements he is making. If he is somewhat connected one way or another to Western secret services, he should be neutralized 100%, and counterintelligence service should take care of it situation. But if he is, independent and criticizes Putin, government, everyone and everybody, then that's his right, man. Let him criticize. Who cares, man? As long as they are not causing disturbances inside the country, and they are not destabilizing country, then, you know, everyone is free to make any statements they like, really. Questions. Question, Jovan Nikirk. Question from Jovan Nikirk. Thank you for your shows. Why does Russia not shut down US recognition aircraft over the Black Sea? Question is South Africa. Well, dear friends, this is not as easy to do, because it's act of war, isn't it? At one point, if you remember, there was incident when US drone was shut down. I mean, it failed, let's say this way. Russia never officially stated that drone was intentionally shut down, but, well, drone experienced some difficulties over the Black Sea, US drone, MQ-9, if I'm not mistaken, and that drone went down. And, well, recently I did spoke about this topic, and I said that if US and UK and France and other NATO member states will not stop directly participate in this conflict against Russia, and this is direct participation when their surveillance planes are operating on the Black Sea and coordinating strikes of Kyiv regime, then at some point Moscow may find itself in a situation when doing nothing may become more costly than doing something. And in that situation, decision may be made or order may be given to destroy some surveillance planes, most likely drones, but who knows, man? Who knows what may happen? And that will be, of course, big step towards further escalation from Russia. But for now, as we all see, Russian government does as much as it can to stay on safe side and not to aggravate situation even more, because yet again someone has to be adult in the room, and the Western ruling class definitely not the people that can act serious. So therefore Moscow have to be as careful as possible, and that's a reason, by the way. Otherwise, from technical standpoint, it does not make any difficulties. It's not challenge for Russian side to destroy any aircraft, all aircraft of the NATO member states. It's just political decision that Russia is trying to act as an adult. That's all it is, really. Question Z12IT. The Communist Party is the second party in Russia. Have they candidate for the presidential elections? They do. And let me check right now. I don't know name of communist candidate. I will Так, let's check. Well, Nikolai Kharitonov, that's candidate from Communist Party, Nikolai Kharitonov. This is, if I'm not mistaken, first time when Zyuganov is not a candidate for presidency, but he is too old, really. So now, Nikolai Kharitonov, let me show you, by the way, screen capture here. So that's Nikolai Kharitonov. This individual will be candidate for presidency from Communist Party, which is a second most popular party in the country, for sure. And well, these elections will be a good opportunity for Kharitonov to let people know him a little better, because well, I don't think everybody in Russia knows who he is, really. I truly don't. I mean, if you go to, I don't know, man, in somewhere in Siberia or in North Ossetia, Alania, for example, and take picture of this individual and say who this guy is. Most likely majority will say they have no idea. Russia is a huge country, by the way, and therefore very few politicians are known well enough through entire country. It's same as in US, by the way, where people may know their own local government, governor, and some mayor of the city, stuff like that. But when it comes to federal scale, people don't really care that much, and very few people are therefore known on a federal level well enough. And well, for Kharitonov, that will be a good opportunity to get know people better. I don't think he will ever have any chances to win presidential elections now or in the next election, but I may be mistaken, I don't know. But communists definitely are second most popular party in the country. Then Spravedlivaya Россия, I guess, which is just Russia. That's a translation. They're both these parties are in parliament. Then on the fourth place, I believe LDPR, which is Liberal Democratic Party of Russia, and they are new party, by the way. Several years ago, some new party was created under the name of New People, and they enter parliament. During the last parliamentary elections, they went to parliament. And Ruth Greening is writing, congratulations on 20k subs. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you. We reached 20k before New Year, and since then, I'm gonna tell you what is going on. Whenever number, I don't know what is wrong with the algorithm, but it definitely broken, because I noticed it like 7 or 8 times that when number of members of our community reaches, according to YouTube's own statistics, by the way, 20,000, 71, 72, 75, then something happens, and 10 to 15, and next day or day after, 10 to 15 people are deleted from members of our community, from subscribers. Then count begins again, and once channel reach 20,000, 70 something, again 10-15 people are deleted, and it happened already 7 or 8 times. Now I can show you in real time, by the way. When I say YouTube's algorithm is broken, I definitely mean that YouTube's algorithm is broken. We can go through statistics, by the way. I can open now this, and well, just before I start live streaming, there was 20,072 subscribers, so YouTube was already deleting, and now 20,067. At some point it will reach 20,060, maybe 55. Then new statistics, YouTube's algorithm will show me that new members are coming in. Once it will reach 20,070 something, it will begin deleting or unsubscribing people once again. And this happened, by the way, already, I don't know, man, really, I mean, 7 times, 8 times. I'm laughing at this point because algorithm is not allowing channel to reach 20,080. I don't know why. I mean, something is broken in algorithm, because I can understand once it may be one random stuff, twice random stuff, 3 times randomly. I mean, it's just coincidence. 5 times, unlikely that it's coincidence, but okay, let's say it's coincidence, but like 7 or 8 times, come on now. So YouTube is done, really. That's why I'm so concentrated lately on Rumble, on Telegram, on Rumble, on these alternative platforms, because something is big time wrong with YouTube, by the way. They can delete my channel at any time, I can understand that. But when it comes to algorithm itself, man, I mean, it's just a total mess. I'm seeing on daily basis when members of our community are writing that their comments, ordinary comments, by the way, sometimes it's just hi, hello, sometimes it's just like greeting to our community, and these comments are even deleted. Maybe because because channel is in shadow ban, maybe algorithm deletes number of comments, number of views. By the way, I saw with my own eyes when algorithm deleted 1,000 views on one of the videos, and because I noticed it with my own eyes, I mean, you know, and comments are deleted, likes are deleted, because algorithm supposed to promote channels based on number of comments, based on number of likes and views, and to decrease, to allow algorithm not to promote this or that channel, these numbers have to be low, very low. And that's what is happening, by the way. So on YouTube, I don't really know what is real statistics on my channel at this point. It says 20,000. Are this number real? Maybe it's 30,000 or 40,000. I don't know. So that's why I'm gonna continue to concentrate on Rumble, on Telegram, these alternative sources. And as long as this channel exists on YouTube, I will be here, of course, and I will use this opportunity to communicate with our community. But it's good that we have alternatives, you know. Yes, French Flinigan is saying it's happening on many channels. Yes, YouTube algorithm is broken, 100%. And well, maybe at some point, I mean, big bosses in Google will realize that YouTube is going down with this crazy approach, man. Like Twitter become, I mean, total garbage under previous leadership. Now Twitter is somewhat regaining again attention from public, but I mean, before Elon Musk buy Twitter, it was pure garbage, isn't it? And it is garbage right now, because many people will most likely never go back to Twitter because they don't trust Twitter's algorithm. And I remember Joe Rogan, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Rogan was saying, correct me if I'm mistaken, but it was Joe Rogan that's saying that when Elon Musk bought Twitter and they make changes in algorithms, and algorithm began showing real numbers, Joe Rogan gained few million subscribers in very short time. And that's not because people only then like get know who was Joe Rogan and his program. No, he always had these subscribers, but algorithm was not showing this. And when Elon Musk bought this algorithm and they make some corrections so that algorithm began working more or less adequately, well, Joe Rogan see additional, I don't know how many millions of subscribers that he already had, but he could not see it. And same is happening on YouTube, by the way. It's total, I mean, it's crap, man. It's really crap. It used to be a great platform, and there's so many different channels about different topics. I mean, you name it, astrophysics, history, geography, everything, news and politics. At least some channels still remain on YouTube. But with such a crap algorithm, you know, it will not take long before this platform will just... So let's see if... TV Top is writing, TV Top C is writing, certain channels are artificially limited in subscriptions. Once channels I know stayed at 482k for a year, then it went to 502.3k, where it has remained for another 6 months. Don't assume it's random. Yes, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, really. And I have to open YouTube every day when I'm uploading video, and when I see it did reach 20,070, I'm beginning to laugh, man, because I know YouTube gonna unsubscribe at least 10-15 people in next several hours, day. And well, if members of our community will check periodically if they are still subscribed, that would be great, because at least number of times I did receive letters that people were writing me that they were unsubscribed. A member of our community was unsubscribed twice, by the way. Can you imagine that? One member of our community was unsubscribed twice. So, and this is happening to this small channel. My channel is tiny compared to these big names. And can you imagine what will happen if my channel was little bigger, like twice or 3 times bigger? You know, they will delete it straight away. They are not deleting now because it's just tiny channel. So maybe it's even good that algorithm is not showing, not allowing channel to gain more subscribers. I don't know. So Moonlight Shadow 81 watching out of 20,000 don't make sense for starters. Yes, I mean, yet again, maybe, I don't know, maybe 200 of us now on the stream. This time, big channels are making their updates, and I can understand that. Majority of our community will pay attention to those other channels, but let's check statistics about if it's interesting, dear friends. I did periodically show you my statistics on YouTube, so let's go to analytics. Oh, now it shows 68, and it will play now like 20,000, 60 something, 50 something. At some point it will reach 70 something, and then another 10, 15 people will be deleted. And let's go to analytics. So geography, audience, yes. So let me show you most popular countries, by the way. Our community, 22% of our community is from US, United States, 13.8% from United Kingdom, 7.8% from Canada, 6.3% from Australia, and 2.9% from Germany. Well, let's read some more. It's interesting, isn't it? Sweden also in top 10. South Africa, by the way, in top 10. 2.8%, 2.2%. Romania, 2%. Netherlands, 1.9%. Russia, 1.9%. So 1.9% of our views, our community is from Russia. Most likely staff of embassies or immigrants from the West. You all welcome, dear friends. Thank you for your attention. Thank to all for attention. Then Ireland, by the way, 1.6%, France 1.3%, New Zealand, by the way, English-speaking country, but only 1.1%, which is, you know, I mean, Australia is in top 5, and New Zealand is in like somewhere in second, 10th, and you know, that's when it comes to statistics. Interesting. So may I should end this live stream, by the way. Question, Levan, when do you expect to reach 5K on Rumble? Well, if we will reach before end of this year 5K on Rumble, that would be great. Because on YouTube, dear friends, if you remember, and majority of you probably learn about my channel from New Zealand. Nicorel is writing New Zealand is pretty small. So yes, I mean, population of New Zealand is, I don't know, not even 10 million, I guess. 7 million. Sorry if I'm mistaken. And on YouTube, I was trying to reach wider audience by commenting on other channels quite actively. And majority of members of our community learn about my channel this way. They read my comments on other channels, on big channels. And I was doing this entire last year. And when I reach, I was stopping for some small period of time because I don't know, it's exhausting really, man. And then I began commenting on other channels again, and I said to myself that, you know, once we will reach 20,000, I will stop commenting. And I stopped even before we reached 20,000. I stopped when the number of our community was 9,500, somewhere there. And I stopped in October, or maybe even in September. And in several months before New Year, some, you know, I had the interview, several interviews on the channels that helped to bring attention of wider community, and eventually, yes, we reached 20,000. But I'm not commenting no more, and therefore, I mean, on YouTube, I can see why we reached 20,000 in a year's time. When I left Leroy Merlin, for example, on 12th of January of 2023, to concentrate on this project entirely, our community was only 1,000 members. And I took risk. I took loan from a bank to make sure that I have some money to provide family while I'm working on this project and trying to develop this project, and I risk it, and it worked. It worked thanks to support of our community. I'm able to maintain this project with hopes that someday maybe, you know, we will have opportunity to get a little bigger. And when it comes to Rumble, by the way, when it comes to Rumble, it's a different story. I'm not commenting on other channels there. And I mean, I can only advertise on YouTube. I can only advertise on YouTube my Rumble channel among our community, and also on Telegram. And if members of our community will share information about my Rumble channel, that will be also helpful. And that's why I guess Rumble channel will develop significantly on a slower pace than YouTube did. And 5K, if we will reach 5K before end of this year, that would be a great result, in my opinion. So, I don't know. Jimmy Dore is example of hitting huge wall to get past million subscribers. He'd compare to Salute Young Turks until changed for a while. Dore had a human service YouTube that let YouTube info sleep. Well, I know that Jimmy Dore was actively cooperating with Young Turks. Then there was a row between Jimmy Dore and Genk Uygur and Anna Kasparian, and it was a not pleasant situation what happened between them. Jimmy Dore was also at some point conflicting in difficult relationship situation with Kyle Kalinske, who is a husband, as I understand, of presenter on Breaking Points. What is her name, man? Crystal Ball. And you know, but Jimmy get through it. Jimmy get through it, and he does makes great programs. By the way, he's definitely one of the best in segment of news and politics in the world, and for sure in the US. And I mean, he does his stuff in a very unique way. he's comedian, so he can, you know, he has great skills to present news greatly, and well, I mean, he is great, man. He is great. I used to watch Young Turks, by the way, number of years ago, many years ago, and when Jimmy Dore was on Young Turks. And at some point, I began losing interest towards Young Turks because they become, I mean, almost the similar as MSM. So there was no difference really at some point between them and, I don't know, MSM. And why should I pay attention to those? And they become extremely Russophobes, man, also. Same I can say about Breaking Points. I was very supportive of these two guys, Crystal Ball and Sagar and Jetty, when they left The Hill to produce their own project, and they did it great. I mean, they are successful, but unfortunately, I don't see them as independent media. You know, when Dore is definitely stays true to his principles, at least that's how I see it. When I cannot say exactly the same about other channels also. But anyway, I guess I have to end this this live stream now, isn't it? And how many of us on the stream? So 91. Great. Thank you all. Thank you all, dear friends, for participating, and thank you all for participating and for your attention, dear friends. If I may, I will end this video. Very busy week ahead. So see you tomorrow. Have a great day and take care.